Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to look at the latest game to see its downfall thanks in part to its connection to the woke consulting firm Sweet Baby. Ever since February, we have seen a completely different narrative surrounding this company, which was once a badge of honor for these various developers to say how woke they are. It is now associated with their downfall, and a lot of them are trying to remove any trace or connection to this company because it is a revenue killer. In fact, a lot of companies are getting goodwill from gamers for actively denouncing this company. Myth Wukong and Game Science, the team responsible for it, are not only getting praise for the promising gameplay that it's showing, but also the fact that they allegedly rejected a $7 million extortion attempt from Sweet Baby, who essentially said, pay us $7 million for our services or go at the risk of being canceled and labeled as some sort of problematic company and game. And that's really what we already saw. As soon as this news came out, we saw several games journalists come out with articles and hit pieces trying to slander Game Science and this game as well, which all of those claims have been debunked, but that's a story for another day. We've also seen a lot of companies try to shed their connection with Sweet Baby. We saw this with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, who at one point was proudly displayed on Sweet Baby's announced projects. Since then, it has been removed, and also a lot of the employees at Rocksteady have tried to denounce any connection to the company that they used to openly celebrate their connection to. And it's no surprise that this connection to Sweet Baby played a role in the failure of this game. The timing of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's release couldn't have been worse. It was only a few weeks before the massive wave of criticism would start towards Sweet Baby, and it's not really a big surprise that in connection to that, they lost $200 million in revenue for Warner Bros. In fact, it has been recently reported that the game division saw a 41% decline in revenue thanks to this game, and has also lost 98% of its players. For a live service game released this year, that is an astronomical loss of players. Now, a lot of games journalists and Sweet Baby defenders, they like to look at the criticism of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and their connection to Sweet Baby, and they say, hey, that's an unfair outlier. That's just a game that happened to not do well for reasons that have nothing to do with Sweet Baby. But on the other hand, they also say Sweet Baby's connection is responsible for the success of Alan Wake 2. They always mention Alan Wake 2, and you can see it's proudly displayed to this day on their projects. And they say that not only is Alan Wake 2 one of the greatest games I've ever seen, they also try to claim it is a financial success. It shows that Sweet Baby's connection can supposedly lead to higher revenue. And that is not true. Now, at one point, in their representation about me section on Sweet Baby, they would even promote Alan Wake 2. However, after the big push against Sweet Baby started in February, you would see people at Alan Wake 2 start to panic. You can see the lead developer here trying to say that it's not true that Sweet Baby had this close connection to the development of this game and also some of the changes made to its characters. But just like anyone else trying to denounce their connection to Sweet Baby, this lead developer lied, and they were caught in a lie where basically, formally, they proudly announced that the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. had a big influence on the game and some of the changes made to its characters that people have defined as woke and some DEI nonsense. And also, a few days after that, I guess the company was really starting to panic because they then lowered the official minimum system requirements for the game to run on PC, hoping to get new people in. Because ironically, this game actually got off to a really good start, but as soon as February hit, when the anti-Sweet Baby narrative really kicked up, their sales have gone through the toilet. And as you can see, this user collected an exhaustive list of some of the bots that were being used to promote this new minimum system requirement reduction for this game. You can just read some of these. It is ChatGPT levels of nonsense here. It's obviously the product of botting, and likely someone involved in the production of this game was trying to promote it through these tweets. And again, they got caught doing this, and it looks really bad. And as it turns out, Alan Wake 2 was not the financial success all of the supporters of Sweet Baby have been trying to claim. In fact, it is a disaster. This was reported only a few days ago by Remedy, the company responsible for Alan Wake 2. Apparently, to this day, they still have not generated enough revenue to start collecting royalties. That is really bad. So as it turns out, the game was fully funded by Epic Games, and Remedy will only receive 50% of the net revenue after Epic Games gets their investment back, which they still haven't. So the company Remedy has not even made a cent, and they're not even close to starting to make any money on this. It's actually crazy. And like I said earlier, this game got off to a really good start with sales. In February, they proudly reported that they sold over 1 million copies globally. But since then, they have not announced any further sales, and I think that's because they've been really bad. Their connection to Sweet Baby really shot them in the foot, and ever since then, ever since the big push against Sweet Baby, it's affected their bottom line. They're kind of stuck with their connection to Sweet Baby at this point because it's so obvious, and they're still proudly displayed on the Sweet Baby official site. Now, moving on from that game, let's get into the most recent example of a game being absolutely destroyed by their connection to Sweet Baby. We're going to be talking about the game Capes. So this is a game developed by Spitfire Interactive and published by Daedalic Entertainment. You can see a lot of bad recent reviews causing the overall reviews to be mixed, and that is in part because of their connection to Sweet Baby. You can see Cabrutus here, the creator of Sweet Baby Inc. Detected and DEI Detected, would add Capes to their list. Now, this is something that was not blatantly obvious. This game is not listed anywhere on the Sweet Baby site, or there's no official mention of the connection by the development team or the publisher team. However, as discovered by some users, in the credits for this game, you will discover that they have basically the entire Sweet Baby team listed. 12 consultants from the company listed, which is a pretty big contribution from Sweet Baby. On top of that, look at some of the names. Do they look familiar? Chris Kindred. Do you remember this individual? Well, you should, because Chris Kindred was the Sweet Baby Inc. employee who started the entire wave of negativity towards their company. They were the one that sped up the negative reaction to Sweet Baby. There was, of course, some criticism of Sweet Baby brewing for months before this, but back in February, Chris Kindred would make a post directing their followers to report and take down not only the personal account of Cabrutus, but also Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, a Steam group on there that at the time had only a tiny, minute fraction of the following it does now. And of course, we know the history that happened after this attempt right here. However, seeing that connection to Sweet Baby being discovered about a week ago, the publishers would come out in a desperate attempt to revive the image of this game. And let me just say, it would only backfire even more. So on Steam, this Penta individual who works with the publishing team would make this statement. You are a little late, actually. We already had 3 months and 14 pages of constructive discussion about DEI in the forum and delivered a gameplay update focusing on exactly what the player base wanted, leading to an 80% positive recent reviews. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually read up on it yourselves. But we were already able to explain that Sweet Baby Inc. only worked briefly, mainly to bring the 4 to 5 people strong indie dev team in contact with fitting voice actors together with the devs 2+ years ago, and many first skeptical players were able to find out that there is no hidden agenda or something else we, in quotes, force down your throats or any other concerns they had besides a well-rounded, diverse cast, obviously. So you can see here they're trying to say, oh, you know, we don't have this connection to Sweet Baby, and the only reason you're mad is because you're bigots, obviously. You hate seeing a diverse cast. Well, I've seen the diverse cast and the apparent connection Sweet Baby had to getting the fitting voice actors, and from people who have played the game and reviewed it, I have heard that the voice acting performances in their attempt to be diverse came off with these bizarre and seemingly nonsensical accents that really sound awful. But anyways, we continue on. They say, so why don't we focus on the most important question that the original poster was mentioning already? Is Capes fun? Well, is Capes fun? Let's find out. Well, it had a few hundred all-time peak when it first released, and now, only a few months later, is at a peak of 28 players in the last 24 hours. Yes, that is another game completely destroyed. If it wasn't already destroyed, the connection to Sweet Baby being discovered was the final nail in the coffin. Now, seeing the reaction to that and more people raising awareness about their connection to Sweet Baby, this publisher would come back and add more, saying, why are 12 people listed, the Sweet Baby in the credits, when they didn't do more work on the game than connecting with VAs? It's an industry norm that if you contact a company, you credit the whole company, or at least that they will tell you themselves that they want to be in your credits. If we really would have wanted to hide something, we wouldn't have put SBI in the credits at all, nor would we have already been talking about this in the Steam forums about it for the last 3 months after release. Another question someone said, why did you still work together with them after all they said? Where they respond saying, the devs collaborate with Sweet Baby Inc. in early 2022. We are aware of these statements being done by individuals connected to Sweet Baby Inc. in the years to come, but in 2022, there was no sign of that. It is likely that the decision would have been different in 2024. So they're basically saying, we contacted Sweet Baby in 2022, and now that we know all this stuff that gamers have exposed about this company, if we made the same decision in 2024, we would have gone a different route. They would not have worked with Sweet Baby. And here's another one saying, you have to learn that. And then they respond saying, as a company bringing games to an international audience, we take the term inclusivity and equality literal. We don't condone hate towards any type of group. This includes among people of color, LGBTQ+, and others, white male gamers as well. It is sad that we have to actually word it out. It should be a given. We are all gamers, no matter who we are. If a diverse cast of heroes makes you not want to play capes, that's your decision, but we are surely not the enemy. At least we don't see you as one for making this decision. But at the moment, some, not all, of you are actively trying to harm a small indie dev studio to teach them a lesson that they never really needed to learn. Now, here is the hard part. I think, yes, I probably do believe them if they're trying to decide on whether or not to work with Sweet Baby in the year 2024 right now. They probably wouldn't, because the reputation of Sweet Baby is that bad. But back in 2022, there was plenty of evidence to discover about these Sweet Baby employees that made them look bad. And on top of that, let's focus on two things. This comment about white male gamers being welcome as a part of this audience, and also the fact that this small indie studio is being bullied. Well, look at some of the employees. Remember this Lego Butts individual? This is a Sweet Baby Inc. employee who has gotten a lot of criticism for a great number of tweets. They have a whole compilation of them saying all these disparaging things about white male gamers in particular. And on top of that, they seem like they don't really discriminate with some of their racist tweets. And making it even worse, Lego Butts for many years has openly shared their responsibility for DDoSing a charity event led by Mark Kern that was trying to promote female indie devs. So I don't want to hear about the bullying here. You hired someone who has openly tried to sabotage events that were intended to help female devs. Like, it's ridiculous. You should have done more research on these people. You didn't. And it was all there. All this stuff was publicly available a long time ago, many years ago, especially the disparaging tweets that we just looked at. Those have been up for many years before 2022. And there's really no excuse for not looking into these people who I'm sure you paid a lot of money for their consulting services. And in wake of this post, a lot of people have been critical of it, asking further questions. But as we can see here, anyone asking questions and trying to have a further discussion are getting banned on Steam. Once again, we are witnessing the dangerous connection Sweet Baby can have to the people who worked with them. I think, like I said, for many years, it was a badge of honor. You could say, I did all my DEI steps as a company. But now people know the truth about this company and the devastating effect they have on not only the games they work with, but just reputationally. Everything surrounding them is related to toxicity among their employees. And now even some developers are begrudgingly realizing, yeah, this really hurts my bottom line, and it seems like everything they touch gets bad treatment. Gamers don't want anything to do with them. And now we're seeing people scramble, and it's good to see companies that are rejecting them, like Game Science, getting rewarded for shutting down Sweet Baby. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, I appreciate you guys listening. Feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.